everyone, Stephanie Garrick here. Let me just start by saying I feel bad. It's my reverse trash, but in the name of God, I'm sorry. I know I've been away for like months, but hear me out. Hear me out. I actually have a reasonable explanation, so hear me out. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know about you, but it's been a really stressful time. And okay, no, I'm kidding. I've actually been kind of busy here and there with different things, right? So, I like to keep my videos short, so I'm not gonna get, too deep into what I've been busy doing. But, here I am, we're back again. And as always, I'm here to spew some knowledge. I'm sure you've noticed that the name of the channel has changed from Nigerian Youth and Politics to Nigerian Youth and Knowledge, because I feel like there's so many aspects of educating that I will be touching on that are not necessarily politically motivated, if that makes sense. So yes, today, we're going to be touching a very touchy subject. I wish I used a better word. We're going to be addressing a very touchy subject, which is society versus feminism. And I feel like a lot of the people who are going to click this video are going to do it because they're expecting, a lot of gra or a whole lot of, the usual menascom bands and, stuff like that. That's not why I'm here today. I feel like as best as I can, I'm going to calmly explain. I feel like, that's the purpose of this video. I'm going to calmly express and explain the importance of feminism. So I'm going to start with defining feminism. A simple Google search will probably bring up that it is the advocacy for women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. A dictionary definition, on the other hand, might say that it is the belief in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. When a person identifies as a feminist, that's literally all it means. There is currently a hate towards women who identify as feminists, especially in Nigeria. Matter of fact, it is considered an insult when a man says to you, "Oh, you're a feminist." Or sometimes you go on social media and you see things like feminists today, or feminists are ruling in the, like, it's become something that men feel that women should be ashamed of. And it baffles me, because why would anybody think that identifying as a feminist would be something to feel insulted by? In a society where everything is based on your intellect and what it is that you bring to the table, your creativity, your intelligence, I see no reason why any man should be against the equality of the sexes. The purpose of feminism isn't to take away from the struggle of being a man. Matter of fact, if anything, I do sympathize and I do recognize the way that the toxic masculinity has failed the male gender, with the expectation that they're to be the sole providers and things like that. But the point of feminism is to relieve you of that burden. But yet you are so against it, but want to complain about that issue. The thing is, I understand how social media can be very misleading. If anything, I agree with you that there are definitely women who do take it overboard. There are definitely women who say things like, "Oh, we've moved past the need for the existence of men," and things like that. And pretty much every opportunity that is brought is used as, is taken to be, let's attack the men and let's, do all of that. I understand it. Trust me, I get it. I feel like if you're unable to understand where that hate comes from, then there is no progress to be made. Because if you're choosing to let a few Twitter rants, some banter, sometimes jokes made against men with the whole men are scum agenda and things like that, if you're choosing to let that guide your notion of what feminism is, I question your intelligence. Because how does that make you different from a white man who chooses to say that the Black Lives Matter movement is irrelevant simply because some people have rioted? Do you understand? Maybe try to sit back for a second and think about the struggles that different women have had to face at the hands of men. Women who have been raped, maybe. Women who have been victims of domestic violence. Do you expect them to be survivors of that and love the gender? It's the same way. Do you expect to go to a Black person who harbors a certain prejudice towards white people based off of their own experiences with them in today's society? Because Black Twitter does a whole lot of that, a whole lot of clowning of white people, but you don't see anybody telling them that that negates the Black Lives Matter movement. So why are you so quick to shut down everything else that women are trying to fight for simply because you feel a little bullied, you know, on social media? There are bigger things to worry about. I promise you. There's countries in the world where women still cannot be educated. There's countries in the world where women still cannot vote. This is what feminism is for. It's not about us versus you guys. There is no social movement in the history of social movements that have been won without the assistance of allies. Your instinct when you see things in relation to feminism should not be actually, because that's what you guys do. And that makes you no different from the white man who always has a fact to point out when we talk about Black lives. It's quite alarming that the only time that you want to bring up the fact that men are also victims of domestic violence is when we're talking about a woman who's a victim. The only time you want to talk about, oh, men get raped too, is when we're discussing, like, every other day of the week, you're fine with the oppression. You're fine with the struggles of the man. But God forbid a woman raises her voice to talk about her own struggle. Actually, men go through it too. What does that say about you? Are you saying it because you actually care about the male gender, or are you just saying it because you want to have something to rebuttal what we're saying? One more thing when it comes to men and expressing their own struggles, or when you're talking about, you know, false rape accusations or victims of domestic violence or rape cases and things like that on the side of the men, it is never just about amplifying the voice of the victims. It is always about, feminists are quiet now. If it was a woman, this would have happened. If it was a woman, this would have happened. If it was a woman, we would have been too loud. Why don't you ever just amplify those voices on your own? Why do you have this expectation that when we amplify our voices, you're silent? Then when something happens to you, we're supposed to be loud on your behalf as well. I don't understand that. Anyway, let's talk about, y'all are not gonna like this one. The women who hate on women. Now, I acknowledge that is a problem of an internalized belief system in our society where, you know, women are constantly taught that they're the subordinates, that they're to serve the man, and, you know, all of that stuff. And I understand your need to hold on to culture. You know, I understand that you want to, you know, stick to how it was, in fact, written in the Bible, that the woman is supposed to serve the man. I get it. But what we're not going to do is discredit what feminism has done for you. It is so bad that it became a thing on the internet where someone came to say, oh, I denounce my feminism as of today, and men were congratulating her, and she was so happy. That is very bold of you to do, as you stand on the shoulders of the feminists who fought before you so that you could even have a voice, only for you to use it to discredit all of their work so that men could be happy with you. The only reason that you're even able to tweet, the only reason why these men are even listening to anything you have to say is because of the work of feminists. But oh, sure, I denounce my feminism. Look at me. I'm so much better than the ones who are fighting for equality. I don't want equality. Give me a medal. See, you can do whatever you want. You can, I'm not telling you to go put feminism in your bio, feminist in your bio, so that you can, you know, feel that you've done something. But for you to go out of your way to discredit what they have done, like, let's not even go too far for the women who fought so that you could even have a right to vote. Let's talk about just recently the women who have put in laws that hold sexual predators accountable within the last year in Nigeria. Because of those women, if something ever happened to you, someone will actually be held accountable. But you're screaming that you want to denounce your feminism because a few people on Twitter are saying a couple mean things to the men. And so I'm jumping off this train. For those types of people, including the men actually, I recommend this book, We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda. It is based off of her TED Talk that she gave. And she really goes deep into how feminism seeps through from like a very young age, and how they constantly try to make you feel like it's something to be ashamed of, but it's not. Wear your feminism on your sleeve and be proud of it. If you care about any kind of social cause, you cannot pick and choose which type of oppression you want to be against. You cannot be a Black man fighting against the oppression from the white man, but you are not doing anything about the oppression of the Black woman or women in general. You cannot be a feminist fighting for the oppression from men, but you don't care about what happens to people in the LGBTQ community. You cannot, like, because in that situation, you're not against oppression. You're just against your personal oppression. And if you don't care about theirs, I'm sorry, why should anybody care about you? Food for thought. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I understand that there's going to be several different opinions on this particular subject matter. I urge that you leave a comment, reach out to me in the DMs, whatever you need to do to let me know your thoughts. This is a two-way communication. You know, I don't think that I know it all. This is me just expressing my thoughts on everything that's been going on so far. There's too much to think about when it comes to feminism for you to belittle it into the men-hating group. Or, no, my favorite one of recent, the Witches' Coven. So, yeah. Whatever it is you have to say, if it's an argument, if you agree, if you learned anything, all of that stuff, leave a comment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this is your first time.